Hey, I'm Sig, and I was addicted to MMORPGs. I know that's not a great thing to say, but it actually made me a better artist. But how? Well, before we get into that, let's first learn how I got into drawing in the first place. Unlike most of you, probably, I started late. I started drawing when I was in college, and I was really inspired by one of my teachers. He had a really cool sketchbook. There was also a friend of mine who, at the time, he was working with college magazines, and I thought it was amazing. I was like, oh my god, I want to create stuff too. Like, duh, that sounds fun. So I did the most sensible thing, and I went to my grandma and I was like, Granny, can you give me money for art supplies because college student broke? So with the money that my grandma gave me, I bought some supplies and I started drawing. At the time, I had no idea of nothing, you know, it's just like everyone else. My drawings sucked. They were terrible. They were awful. Awful. Completely awful, you know? But I didn't know why they were awful. And I also had no idea how much time you'd actually need to put into drawing in order to get good. But I was having fun, so I was like, oh, okay, let's go to art school. Let's go learn some art. So I found a course and I took a course on oil painting. A few years after college, I started another course of drawing, and this one is actually like it was much further away from my house than the previous one. I had to take 3 buses in order to get there. It took me like 2 hours to go and 2 hours to return. So I spent more time going back and forth than actually having classes. If you think about it, like in retrospect, it feels very motivating right now, but it was not nice if I think about it. Yeah. But what really matters is that this course, the teacher that I had in this course, he was really good. The teacher was constantly telling me that the joy was in the process. That in order to get good, you need to make thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of studies. And I couldn't understand that. My mind was too focused on the end goal, the perfect drawing, the magnum opus, yada yada yada. So I dropped. I failed. I couldn't get everything together. It was too much. Like I couldn't execute things properly. And I was so frustrated that I completely stopped drawing. And you know, fast forward a couple of years, I hadn't touched a single sheet of paper. I was in a sad, dark place, and I ended up starting to play this MMO for fun. It is a modern MMO, just for context. I'm not saying the name of the MMO, but people will know. Anyway, now, I hadn't played an MMO since Ragnarok Online, so I was really impressed with the visuals, the combat system, and how the genre had evolved over the years. It was really overwhelming at first, but as I kept playing, I got accustomed to it again, and it slowly became easier. Now, if you are unfamiliar with the MMO genre, it's a type of game where there are a lot of daily things to do. It's basically a second job. No one plays these things for fun anymore. You know, you spend a lot of time killing the same mobs over and over again, managing items, managing resources, and trying to get an achievable gear. And it's a type of game that it consumes a lot of time. it's very time consuming, because unless you are grinding like 10 hours a day or you're gaming 10 hours a day, you will not be able to reach and game items and, FOMO and stuff. Not very healthy. Also, bear in mind that nowadays these games are much like gacha games, so they are filled with dopamine inducing things, shiny glowing objects, new fancy outfits, and etc., all for you to pay. It's not fun, but one thing that I do have to say is that it is addicting, and you get addicted very, very easily. And once you're in, it's hard to get out. And for the next 6 years, that was pretty much my life. I would grind 4, maybe 5 hours a day. I would do every daily, run after every shiny rock, participate in all events, and I would be a very proactive member of that community. I'm not gonna lie, I was happy for the most of it. I was so happy that I even got to draw again a couple of years in, and even though, don't get me wrong, my art still sucked, I was very happy to see that people appreciated it, and slowly I've started to draw more, and the more I drew, the less scared of it I became, the less attached to the results I became. I was just having fun. Of course, I was still drawing less than a professional artist would. It was even much less than most of my friends did back in the day. But the less attached I was to these drawings, the better they were becoming. I just wanted to portray my characters doing things. And my passion for the game, along with my skills, were enough. Honestly, I was mostly just happy that I was drawing again, even as a hobby. And one day, as I was sitting through my art supplies, a thought occurred to me like, why did I give up? I mean, surely if I'm able to manage playing this much time, I could certainly try drawing more. And the more I thought about it, the more I understood that the fact that I didn't draw every day wasn't because I wasn't capable of doing so or because of my art was bad. I just realized that I didn't know how to keep something consistent until now. Because if there is one thing that MMOs teach you, is how to be consistent. Seriously, have you ever tried missing one day of a Halloween event, and then there is a pop-up telling you that you're a failure because you missed one day, and there is one unchecked and marked day in your schedule, and you're just like, oh no, now I'm not going to be able to get the Halloween skin that I was planning to, only for them to release the same skin the next year for a price? Yeah. The funny thing about consistency is that it's an ability that you learn just like any other. Sometimes doing the thing is enjoyable, sometimes it's not, but you get it done nonetheless just because of the sake of getting it done. I didn't enjoy grinding every day, but I surely enjoyed the money after it. Just like now, I don't like studying every day, but I do enjoy the completion of the task. And piece by piece, all those advices that I had received all those years ago, it all started to make sense. And I finally understood what the whole "you have to enjoy the journey, not the result" is about. Because in the end, the results that I get don't matter as much as the process that I went through in order to get it. My only regret is that I kinda wish it hadn't taken me 6 years to figure it out, but what can I do about it? Everyone has their own time, and if it took me this long, it's probably alright if you take your time too. So, thanks for watching.